Give you a little whoop wop. You feel me? Got the little whoop wop, you know. Yee!
So tell them where you from. Tell them what you about.
I never know where to start when people ask me that. I am Grace Deyanna. It's my stage name. My name is Grace Swint. I'm from San Francisco. I now reside in Sacramento. I'm a spoken word artist. Got my scene doing open mics in Oakland, Berkeley. I'm now here at American River College. The plan is to transfer to Davis next fall, to double major in sociology and political science. Yeah, man, queen of all trades out here. That's a very summed up version, you know, of me. But yeah.
You big dogging, huh?
You know, I just, you know, that's my motto, queen of all trades. I feel like you gotta, it's always room for improvement, you know what I mean? Restless. I'm a Sagittarius too, so that's one of my many qualities. I just always feel like I gotta be doing something, you know what I mean? So I'm always challenging myself to be better.
The perfect pair, huh? An Aries and a Sagittarius.
Oh, bluntness coming for you, that real for sure.
Alright, so you got a video that's going viral right now. It's got like 50,000 on it right now.
Yeah.
That's big. What was your initial reaction to the Nia Wilson murder?
My initial reaction was a little, it's unfortunate because honestly, I kind of got to a point now where I would almost say I'm numb in a sense that it happens so often that I don't even know how to feel no more. But this one kind of really hit home for me though, out of all of them, simply because I was on the BART train. I was a couple stops away from that train, and so for me, thinking about it, that could have been me. Like if I wouldn't have missed my train, if I wouldn't have missed my train, like I was supposed to get off at MacArthur and transfer to the Richmond train, and then they pass the stop and they're like, hey, is something going on at MacArthur BART? And I'm like, and then once I'm off the BART the next day, I hear on the news, I'm like, what? Like, so that shit was crazy to me. Like I'm in awe of that.
How do you feel about like the protection of the black woman in America?
Oh man,
I feel like that's is non-existent. I also feel like as a black man and us as black men could do definitely do a lot better at protecting y'all and cherishing y'all for what y'all are, you know. Agreed. I just that's crazy because yeah, I mean the black woman is the most unprotected person on the planet in this country, you feel me? And it's definitely hard, you know what I mean, to think that, you know, it's not to say that, you know, we don't know if people tried to help, but it's definitely a harsh reality to come to terms with what the reaction would be if that was a little white girl, you know what I mean? And that's what really kills me, you know what I mean? To think about the mayhem that would have come if that was a little white girl, you know what I mean? And then what really got me hot about that situation is the fact that they used the only negative picture they could find to represent this young girl's life as some kind of way to justify or insinuate that she deserved such a brutal murder, you know what I mean? And which was so out of pocket. Like,
so out of pocket.
The first person I thought of was my girl and, you know, her sister, because they're so close and they always travel to the Bay Area. So like that really hit me because it was so close to home, and just to think like that could have been my mama, that could have been one of my sisters.
Right.
Know? It really struck me at the heart though,
for
real.
Right.
So, Mrs. Grace, what has helped shape this strong presence that you carry all the time?
That's funny. Actually just sent my dad a text message the other day. It was just random. I was just in my feelings and I was just like, you know what, Dad? Like, I love you, bruh. Like, you know, and I was really sat down and I really started thinking about how I became the woman I am today, and it's been an ongoing process, and sometimes I get like a little scared when I think about who I would be if I didn't have a father that wanted me, you feel me? So I mean, aside from my own will to be the best version of myself, I would definitely say that my father has a lot to do with who I am today, you feel me? Because my mom gave me away when I was 7, and you feel me, the only reason I'm not in a group home or, you know what I mean, out in these streets somewhere, you know what I mean,
it's because I had a dad that wanted me. That's it. You feel me? That's the only thing that separated me from my sister, my nephew that been in the group home. You know what I mean? So, my dad is definitely a big part of my life. But it's funny though, because I didn't always used to be like this. You know what I mean? And like my dad used to always say, like, bruh, people hate to see you coming. And like when I was young, you know, because of the absence of my mother, I was real rebellious. And so, you know, my dad really instilled into me the power of humility. Like, I never knew when to shut up. Like, I'm going to get the last word. I just didn't have no humility, no regard for authority, nothing. You know what I mean? So I had to fight really hard to become who I am today. For sure.
That's crazy that you said that. I'm actually raised by my dad, too. And my mom had gave me up at 2 years old. And I've been raised by my grandmother for most of my life, but it's been mainly, my dad's mainly been there to, like, you know, directly influence me. I feel like I've definitely learned how to treat a woman because of my granny. And I really always had like a strong sense of respect for authority, because like I always had like some type of authority to look up to, whether it was my grandmother or, you know, the various law enforcement people in my family. Like, I have a wide span of people that, you know, that's in my family that could influence me, you know. Even the ghetto side, even the drug dealers, you know what I'm saying, all that shit. That's crazy. So I thought it's only right that I asked this, since Aretha Franklin passed. What does respect look like to you? What does respect in the black woman look like to you?
Respect in the black woman look like to me, man. It looks like so many things. When I think about, you know, Nia Wilson and, you know, Corinne Gaines and Sandra Bland and, you know, the list just goes on, you know, all these names. And even when I think about my own personal experience with police brutality, in the sense of a systematic form, I feel like when I think about protection, I be thinking about like Malcolm X, you know what I mean? I be thinking about, you know, like who is going to defend our name? You know what I mean? I think of actual protection, but I also think about, it gets deep, because when we think about the dynamics of black men and black women, you know, there's a lot of deeply rooted things that affect the way that black men treat black women. And a lot of times it's not that black men don't love us, it's that they don't love themselves. So I think what it starts with...
It's getting hot in the kitchen. I gotta bounce up out of there on that one. Nah, but keep going, sister. I'm listening to you. That was real.
And so for me, I think what it means to love the black woman is to understand what it means to love self, because a black woman is Mother Nature itself. You know, the black woman is the epitome of, you know, Mother Nature. And I feel like for us to not to be protected it's kind of ironic in a sense, and it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? And then the negative backlash we get for having this strong woman complex, you know, that in a sense we're almost forced to have, you know what I mean? I just think protecting the black woman has to do with showing compassion, you know what I mean? Loving yourself first, you know what I mean? Because I think once you can love yourself, you can understand how to love not just a black woman, but anybody else. And I think it just comes with, you know, just when I think about the Nia Wilson case, is protecting ourselves and each other by all means. And I be thinking about that all the time. If I was there, I would have risked my life without hesitation, bro.
That's what I said.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
There's no way that I could sit there with my phone, my nigga. I don't care, bro. Like,
yeah,
I don't care. You feel me? Like, I feel like I have enough leadership actually to be able to get everybody around me to realize what they're doing and realize, bruh, if we all go over there, bruh, what the police gonna do? Start chipping off a bunch of innocent civilians? No, they're gonna back off. You feel me? Like, and so I know that I could never, I can't watch it. I don't, you know what I mean? They say you either stand, what is it?
You stand for something or fall for anything.
Stand for something or fall for anything, you feel me? And if I'm a fall, it's gonna be in the name of something righteous. You feel me? So, but I feel like black men need to have that mentality too. Like, I just don't understand. Y'all, like, sitting here recording. You feel me? Niggas, you recorded Oscar Grant died. You motherfucking recorded Eric Garner being choked to death. Like, you recorded Tamir Rice. You record, like, why are we recording, bruh? Like, I don't get that, bruh. I just don't.
You know what? I never got that shit neither. And then, like, I also got, like, military family too. And they always be like, oh, you wouldn't have did shit. You wouldn't have did shit. I'm like, y'all don't know me. Like, y'all don't know how, like, crazy I am about my people. And I think a lot of brothers don't understand that once they get institutionalized and they get to, you know, they start getting influenced by these outside entities that, you know, that may have gave them opportunity that our community may have not given them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think that it's so important that we just protect each other, number one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even the Stephon Clark situation, like, man, I'd be damned if one of those Kings fans, whoever the fuck was out there, was to touch my girl, you know what I'm saying? Or let alone they yell at her or anything. You feel me? Like, I don't play that funny shit at all. Like,
right.
But definitely,
and that's how it should be.
Yeah, just protecting each other. And brothers, if y'all listening, protect each other and protect your families. You know what I'm saying? Self-preservation is the number one thing, and if we don't have that, nigga, we don't got nothing. We might as well lay down and
period.
You might kill ourselves.
No, seriously. Like, I got a line in one of my poems. I say, I'm tired of black men disowning their own flesh. If we can't love each other, then we might as well tie the noose around our own necks. Hanging ourselves with so much self-hate, not realizing that we have never fought for freedom. We have only fought to be accepted. And that line is so powerful to me because that's what it is, bruh. It's like, if we can't come together, and that's the thing with the black community. It's like, we the only ones that can't get on the same agenda, you know what I mean? And really love each other, you know what I mean? And, you know, just the time we live in, it gets deep, bruh. But,
so how do you think we begin to love one another and start to respect one another, you know what I'm saying? Because we got some new students coming into our program. We got, you know what I'm saying, new individuals that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? They don't know us, so it's gonna take some time getting used to knowing each other and getting used to each other. So how do you feel is the best way for us to get together and come together as a cohesive group, I guess? Don't go after my vegan spaghetti now.
Right, definitely trying to swift his spaghetti on the low. How do we become a united front? Well, I think one of it starts with, like, you feel me? Stuff like this, your Moja community, you know what I mean? Bringing back, having these kinds of places on campuses, these kinds of campuses that were never really created with us in mind to begin with. So when you consider that, you know, we have these spaces that when they was building the education system, they were like, how can we best serve the Negro? No, they wasn't thinking about us. You feel me? They wasn't thinking about making us feel comfortable in this environment. So when I think about what it means to, what's the question again? What it means to instill a sense of community, or what?
Yes. What does it mean to, how could we best come together as a cohesive group with all the new bodies?
Think about what it means to create that. I think one of the biggest things that I like in being like a part of Umoja, for example, on campus, and just unity in general, whether it's on the academic campus or just out in the real world, is we have to get back connected with our spiritual roots. We have to realize that we come from a kind of divinity that we have been so far detached from that it's so hard to navigate. What is my purpose here, right? You go to public school and all you know is that your people were slaves, you was a slave, and how to go put in an application at TJ Maxx. You have no sense of purpose, of your place or anything. So as far as for the black community, I think we have to do a lot of healing. I think in order for us to come together, we have to heal as a community. We have to hold each other accountable as a community. And we also have to love each other in a way that is not judgmental. And I noticed that a lot within the black community is we really lack the ability to disagree without being judgmental. And it's, even within the family, it's like the family is so broken that how can we even begin to go out into the community if we can't even be strong as a family? You feel me? I got cousins, you feel me, that don't talk to me, bruh, because of a disagreement, you feel me? And it's just like, if all it takes is a disagreement for us
to break up
for
and...
your departure, you know what I mean, then how strong is our connection? You know what I mean? So if we can't really support each other in that kind of way, it's gonna always be hard. You know, we gonna always be in this individualistic, you know, every man for himself type of mentality that, you know, this whole divide and conquer thing that they got. You know, this crabs in the barrel. You know, one nigga got the spot, so it's like, all right. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, we could all win. You know what I mean? That's why my favorite, like, I like the African, I love being a part of Emoji, you feel me? Because the African, what was it say? If you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together.
Right.
And we just, you know, we have this deeply engraved mentality of, you know, I could do it myself. You know what I mean? But you could do so much more together. And I think if we can begin to understand that and separate ourselves from this crabs in the barrel, I want the light, you get back, nigga, you know what I mean, type shit, then we can begin to prosper, you know what I mean? But I think that's the more spiritual rooted aspect. You know, you got black economics, all these, just all the psychological aspects that we need to confront. But I think just as far as creating that unity, we got to love each other, we got to do better. And yeah.
How much do you study, like, as in, like, reading, like, to empower yourself, you know what I'm saying, just looking up different books and artists that just inspire you to, you know, be a more enlightened and empowered black person?
That's funny because, like, as I'm growing, I just, like, low-key started reading. And, like, matter of fact, this book right here, y'all.
Okay, bringing out some education.
It's Dr. King. This Dr. King legacy. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? This is so. I feel like it's so important for us to learn from past leaders, because you get to see what was already done, what was tried, what was successful, what wasn't successful. There was this line in here that Dr. King has said. It's just amazing. And then what be tripping me out is when I read about past leaders, I be tripped out the fact that I had wrote and I thought and I said that shit without even knowing that they had already said that.
Right.
And I'm like, bruh, I'm a leader, bruh. Like, it just be baffling me, like, I said that. You feel me? Like, I be reading the same stuff Dr. King said and it just be having me amazed. But I would say Dr. King is one of my my biggest influences.
He's definitely one of mine for sure.
Yeah.
I love that Been to the Mountaintop speech where he's just like, and that's actually the speech where, like, the day after he got killed. And so, like, I just felt the freedom and just the passion in his voice, and it really just, it makes me feel at peace, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like if I was to die for whatever I stand for, it wouldn't be that goddamn bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. You have a very strong voice, and you have a very, it kind of offsets me at first. And then when I kind of, like, you know, push that outside shit out the way, like, I could actually focus on what you're saying. And you say a lot of powerful stuff. You said you got a lot of that influence from your dad, but how did you hone in that energy to, like, really go all out?
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Because you making me process and really think, like, how did I, like, come this? And that's crazy. Like, I didn't. Okay, so this is, I'm like, as I'm like, because you making me think, because I don't really, I mean, honestly, I don't read that much. So I think, like, okay, how did I become this person? Where did I get my enlightenment from? That
was a very good way to remix the question. I like that.
So for me, I think it was just always within me, but I had to find it because and that's why even now, I don't know if like if you ever like catch me after a poem or like when people like tell me like, oh, you're dope, like I don't even know how to receive it sometimes because I'd be like, really? You know what I mean? But as I've stepped more confidently into my purpose, like I look back and I think one specific, what I think kind of woke me up and kind of gave me purpose is when my police brutality experience when I was 18 years old. It just snapped me to like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like I guess I was living in some kind of bubble. You know what I mean? Like before that, like a lot of people don't know my story, you feel me? I was lost, bruh. So before that scenario, I was fresh out of high school. I was made fun of hella much. I got the deep voice. I'm tall. They used to get on me. You feel me? So my first semester of college, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of cute now. All right, for sure. I'm supposed to be a model. You feel me? So, all right, I'm supposed to be a model now, nigga. So, you know, I did my whole little music video shit and, you know, thought I was going to be the next motherfucking Erica Mena on some fucking Love and Hip Hop bullshit. Just lost, nigga. You feel me? And just living in a bubble, you feel me? All right, went to cosmetology school. All right, cool. Got that more so to go in my back pocket. Not really passionate about doing hair. All right. And then this experience happened, and it was like, wake up. It was like, okay, you're a black woman in America. It triggered me, and that's why my motto now is turn pain into passion. And I think my ability to start to really self-reflect on myself, keep it real with myself, is really where my enlightenment came from. When I wrote my first poem, and that's why that motto is so big, because the most traumatizing experience of my life is honestly why I'm sitting here right now, because that experience led me to write the poem that catapulted me, Newsworthy. You feel me? I wrote my first poem, Newsworthy, about that specific experience. Then as I wrote that, I saw that, you know, this was kind of healing for me. So I kind of started to find healing through writing. And so all of my initial poems were about confronting things in my life that has caused me pain. So my first poem was Newsworthy. My second poem was called I Think Too Much, which was about why the church pushed me away. Third poem was called Broken Home, which was about the dysfunction of my family. And all of these things, I just began to just really question my own purpose. I can't even say that it was anybody, you know, because my dad is not deep at all. I mean, he has little crevices, but he's not no real deep philosophical person. My mom, she's kind of deep, but that's a whole nother story. I would say I have gotten some of my abilities from my mother. Just, I don't know how, because I really wasn't around her during the time, but
it ain't on you, it's in you, huh?
Exactly. So for me, a lot of my enlightenment just came from, honestly, self-reflection. Like, self-reflection. And then when I got back in school, that's when I, you know, just started getting a little bit more knowledge. And then I think being exposed to the poetry scene is what kind of catapulted me. So after I wrote those few first poems, I went to the open mics in the East Bay and all this stuff, and ended up on the National Poetry Slam team. Stuck with it. And in 2016, I won as an Oakland representative to go to New York for the Women of the World Poetry Slam. And I think it just took me being surrounded around people who look more like my future than my past for me to take that step into who I was supposed to be. But a lot of my enlightenment,
it's just self. It's within you, huh?
It's just, okay, and that's why I be so tripped out when I do try and, you know, go back and read, and I be like, bruh, what? I said that, you feel me? And I just be like, wow, like it just be scaring me. So, but as I said, Dr. King definitely has always been an influence. But you know, everybody influenced, because I feel like every black kid who leave public school, you only know about Rosa Parks and Dr. King. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't teach you nothing about history. You feel me? So, you know, just that whole experience and just, you know, confronting, all right, you're a black woman in America. What's your purpose? What you here for? And when I realized I was built to be more than cute, that's when I was like, all right, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I can almost vaguely remember a day I was on a music video set, and I was just like, I just kept getting frustrated because I knew I was talented. People come on set and they be like, oh, you know, this what you do. You could just put me in this bubble. And I'm like, nah, you feel me? I had to, you know, but as a woman, I had to realize your presentation has everything to do with the way people, you know what I mean, confront you. You know what I mean? So I was just like, nah, I wasn't built to be cute. You know, fuck all that. And then I was just like, yeah, I have a purpose, and I started searching for it. And I found it when I wrote that first poem in my notepad.
Okay. I really appreciate this interview, Grace. This is really dope. And I can't wait for the rest of the world to see this too.
Yeet.